And welcome to another special edition of Trader Talk TV coming from Cannes. And today we've got Jordan Cancela on the show. Jordan, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
As you can see, we actually have a whiteboard in Cannes. As you can see, the backdrop here is beautiful, and we actually have a whiteboard. And today, Jordan's on the addition to actually whiteboard video header bidding. Jordan, what is video header bidding? Well, obvious it's header bidding. Well, what does it do?
Sure. Yeah, it's basically like if you think of OpenRTB protocol, you have banner objects and you have video objects. So with the header strategies you see today, predominantly what you're seeing in the market is leveraging the banner object, which is broadly adopted, well understood. But similarly, by signaling a video object, you can now monetize all of your pre-roll style, video pod style inventory, largely the same way. So fundamentally, the technology works the same as conventional header bidding. It's just instead of signaling exclusively banner opportunity, you're also signaling video opportunity.
Okay, for those who haven't really seen the header bidding stuff, let's map it out and we'll take it from a video perspective, because obviously we're in Cannes, top of the funnel, it's branding, so we want to talk about that specific thing. So let's just map it out and see how a particular buyer would buy that video inventory and what kind of things happen in that whole sequence.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, basically to me, you have the the start moment in time where you have a web page experience, and then you have these various tracks that are occurring. So down here, let's just say you have buyers, and then up here you have like the website itself. And at this moment in time, this is when a web page loads. So call this time index 0, and this is where you're initiating all of your header requests.
Right, okay.
So now, today maybe you're monetizing banners only, so you would only be signaling out the banners. In this model where we have video, all of a sudden, we're also sending out a video opportunity. So at some point during the page load, there will be a video player that's gonna load.
Nice.
How about that? And it's a function of, well, how do we make sure that we do all these different bidding activities up here so that by the time that player shows up, we're not adding any latency. We've already come up with as much demand as we need in order to facilitate these transactions. Now, video's complex. It's different than banners. So when you think of a web page conventionally, what do you have? You have various ad sizes. Okay, we call them slots. With video, you have a similar concept. You have various slots, but those slots actually can be grouped into what we call pods. So this would be a 3-pod with 3 slots per pod. So you have 9 opportunities here to monetize.
Are these in a particular? So let's just say it's a playback of a particular show like Game of Thrones. There's basically opportunities to buy a specific pod within that episode.
Correct. And what the ad server knows is, for this particular experience, what is the composition of that inventory? Just like a conventional DFP, you have 3 or 5 different ads on a page. Here you have 9 slots, and you have these 3 different commercial breaks. Okay. So all that composition exists. Depending on the amount of complexity that we're dealing with, how we do the integration changes. Okay. There are new considerations. So for instance, if I'm in a pod, I want to make sure that I'm not running 2 Coca-Cola ads simultaneously. Or I want to ensure that there's competitive exclusion, so I don't have Coca-Cola and then Pepsi running right after. That's just a poor experience for the brand. So there's new considerations that don't necessarily exist to the same degree with conventional banners as they do with video. So when we talk about what are we signaling to this player, we're not just signaling a price or a deal, we're also signaling information that allows for competitive exclusion to work correctly. And we're dealing with inventory composition that is somewhat different. But fundamentally, how that all works is still through the key value signaling mechanism of conventional header bidding.
So In terms of like what you're solving here, I mean, like, there's a lot of demand for video, right? A lot of direct deals are done. I mean, in trading deals, a lot of video is bought up by the agency trading teams. So what exactly are you bringing here? I know yield is important, but is there that pent-up demand that header bidding will actually increase yield for publishers who have video inventory?
I mean, video is different. I mean, there is a strong open market component to it. What we see is a lot of 100% PMP style of video opportunities with our publishers.
Yeah.
So I would say there's still that full spectrum. The thing is, in terms of a fulfillment channel for buys, programmatic has the data activation, the automation piece to it. So, irrespective of how video is conventionally being booked, there's still that efficiency of programmatic having it involved. So, to me, it's just that's the way to do this. And instead of saying, well, whatever internal systems exist in my ad server, that's how I'm going to run all my video.
Yeah.
With the header, now you have this adjacent solution. It can see everything. It can signal the video opportunity, and then we can potentially bid into any one of these opportunities in this agnostic way, where we're not reliant on the underlying platform. So some of the things that are really nuanced about video is when you get into, well, how do we even figure out what's available, and some of these challenges that are a lot simpler to kind of conceive in your mind for display. And we never know, like, how long is this video going to be? How many pods are there going to be? So the rule sets and how we queue up this bidding information is a lot different. And the ad server really helps with these things. So if this is our DFP style or ad server layer, depending on how complex this inventory composition is, we may have to ask DFP what's available. And if this is your header tag here, if we know that we're dealing with long form, 1 hour, an hour and a half type video content, and some unknown configuration that's not static, so we're not talking about just the YouTube with a pre-roll, right? We're talking about these long form videos. We have to ask DFP, what's available? And then DFP is going to return back a mapping of the composition of this particular video. So the publisher is going to go to great lengths with the broadcaster, classifying their library of all their assets, figuring out where the breakpoints are, and then by asking a simple question up in the header of the page before anything's even started, we can understand this.
Yeah.
In the case where we have a simple pre-roll, we just take it out to bid immediately. We don't need to go to the ad server to ask for composition information.
Okay.
So this touch point here is the more complex case.
Yeah.
And then, so once we've acquired this mapping, then we can go down to the exchange, and we can ask the buyers. And what's cool is that if we're already doing this for banners, we can add a couple of these video pods along for the ride.
Yeah.
So we're not adding any latency.
Right.
Because everything that's happening down here is 100% in parallel, and we can simultaneously auction the banner opportunity and the video opportunity. So in terms of impact to page, if you're running a header strategy and you have video opportunity, you may as well have it come along for the ride and see what's available and open up that channel. And there's literally zero impact because everyone's already doing header.
Yeah.
And so we'll return back all of the different bids that we've got from the buy side, deal IDs, pricing information, banners, video, the whole works is all in there. And then once we've done that, we can signal back to DFP in different ways. So for conventional banners, we use the Google Publisher Tag interface.
Yep.
Nothing changes there. But as you can see, the messaging is all shared.
Right.
And this is happening in like 200 milliseconds. So it's not a huge commitment.
Right.
And it's a parallel thread in the browser. So it's not blocking anything. And then for video, there's something called a master video tag, which really, conventionally what happens is that player just pipes right into this VMAP, and there's no intermediation required. because everything's booked direct, everything's a line item in the ad server. What we're doing is we're bringing additional targeting information along for the ride so that we can drive this key value mechanism. So here we're signaling slots that exist in the banner environment. Here we're passing in category information so we can facilitate exclusions and pricing information.
Right. And I guess that a lot of display publishers wouldn't be carrying video anyway, so this is going to work well for Outstream as well, I guess.
Fundamentally, this solution works in an Outstream environment,
Yeah.
where we're seeing, I would say, like 90% of the interest is in conventional
Right.
pre-roll,
Right.
broadcaster style
And these are
inventory.
just typical RTB buyers, like agency, trading desks,
Yeah.
ad networks, looking to basically buy a video inventory.
That's right. I mean, it's largely the same platforms. I think the big difference that we see in video, in terms of the demand composition, is there's a very strong TubeMogul presence.
Yeah.
That, when we look at how the exchange works,
Yeah.
it's normally you have this very dominant DBM type
Yes.
buyer.
Yeah.
Video's different. It's a lot more spread out.
Yeah.
And the
Well, outside of Google and Facebook, there isn't an awful lot of video inventory available, so it's going to be disparate and, as you say, spread out.
Yeah, and so for pure play, video buying platforms, outside of that Google, market, which obviously, as everybody knows, is
closed
closed
off.
off.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive at getting access to those coveted impressions.
So the yield then for the publishers is quite high in this kind of stuff, because of the dearth of actual quality video inventory in the market.
Yeah, I mean, like we deal with the scale game, with conventional display, where
Yeah.
there's just an incredible amount of supply,
Inventory,
right?
yeah.
It's like almost infinite. With video, it's highly constrained, and each one of these potential requests that are going out they're highly valuable. So for us, bringing this additional incremental opportunity, we don't even feel it as a platform. The thing is that each one of them is worth their weight in gold to the buyer, and that kind of keeps the market propped up.
Yeah. Well, and typical publishers are using this now. Are you testing with a lot of US publishers? Is it available here in Europe yet, or?
It's globally available, and we've published all of our APIs on the header tag wiki site that we have, and it operates. There's nuanced differences between the two models, but it operates largely the same as our main product for display. And we have a quite a stacked queue of ongoing integrations and active integrations.
And what about the brands themselves over there in the Palais? I mean, what's the value for them?
I think it comes down to instantaneously, on a moment, you can be on every screen.
Yeah.
And you can tailor that message in ways that you can't do with linear television. It's just such an integrated style of expressing that creative energy that the brands have in a way where, I just see this as an opportunity. The more that this whole community can understand how this technology works, somebody's going to come up with a really cool way to use something like this. You made me think of a newer concept that's happening, which is it's called optimized podding.
Optimized podding.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is a Google beta. Okay.
Right, okay.
But I think Google Search is a beta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and what that does is a brand can come in here and they can say, well, I want this whole commercial break, and if they're able to drive enough yield to beat all three of the slots, they can have the whole pod. Things like that, and it's all done in real time, in milliseconds.
Interesting.
And there's no paper going on anymore. It's all automated. And then what actually drives this player is a super standard VAST plus VPaid style messaging. So all of their assets are there. They're controlling them on their own ad serving platform. They can change them if they wish. And then VPaid allows them to ensure the quality of the environment, measure the viewability, get all their KPIs that they want. So this is what buyers have been doing in digital video since the beginning. It's just how it got there is different. That's what unlocks the potential.
So optimized podding, that's going to be the big thing next year in Cannes, probably.
I think that's probably going to be our next trader
next
talk.
whiteboard session. Jordan, thanks for coming on today and explaining video
you.
header bidding, and I'm sure it's going to be a big success and it's going to be taken off here next year, and Cannes will be full of panels and whiteboard sessions about it. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Trader Talk TV.